There is always something inside each of us that burns quietly. A curiosity so strong that it almost feels dangerous to admit. It is that one subject, that one pursuit, that one obsession we would study endlessly. If no one judged us, the thing we can't shake off, the thing that grows more fascinating the deeper we dive. With every step forward, we develop the skills to master it, and with every skill gained, the journey becomes even more rewarding. The question is, what would failure look like if we chose this path? Could we fall on our faces every single day, be laughed at by our families, ridiculed by strangers, and still return tomorrow with the same fire in our chest? If the answer is yes, if we could endure humiliation and still chase it, that is our thing. That is the pursuit worth giving our lives to. But to discover it, we must be recursive, looping back through our own desires, peeling away layers of distraction until we touch the core. Life has already shown us what failure looks like. We know the sting of disappointment, the weight of rejection, the silence after defeat. We know what it feels like to dream and watch those dreams fall apart. Yet the possibility of victory often goes unexplored. We give so much attention to fear, to the pain of losing, but rarely do we dare to give victory a chance. Fear is not always an enemy. Sometimes it is a guardian. Fear forces us to sharpen our edge, to attempt things we never would have tried without its presence. But we must be careful not to let fear become a prison. Inexperience, contrary to what society tells us, can be an advantage. When you don't know the rules, you are free to break them. You can see problems in unconventional ways. You can use ignorance as a weapon because you are not bound by the patterns of those who have failed before. Still, the path forward is never smooth. There will be steps, endless steps, that feel exhausting. You must not fall asleep on those steps. You must not collapse halfway through, because if you give up there, the world will find you stuck, defeated on the staircase you refuse to climb. This is why the hardest question in life is also the simplest. What will you do? Will you quit when it hurts? Or will you continue on? Every breakthrough begins with someone deciding not to give up, even when quitting looked easier. Most of us have moments where we throw pity parties for ourselves. We sit in the shadows of our past pain and refuse to face the future. Like travelers who fled Egypt but could not face the wilderness ahead, we sometimes choose to stay stuck between what once was and what could be. Pressure is constant. It crushes us from family, society, work, and from within our own self-doubt. The hardest battle is not external. It is the fight against self-consciousness. We fear that everyone is watching, waiting for us to make mistakes. But the truth is that greatness requires walking through that discomfort. You must learn to do the right thing, even when no one else sees the value. Often, when you take a step toward integrity, doubt immediately rises. It whispers that you are wrong, that you are foolish, that others will laugh. But doubt is only a shadow. It has no substance unless you give it power. Real success comes when you shift your goal from seeking glory to seeking usefulness. The most important measure is not fame or wealth, but usefulness, how much value your work brings to others and how many lives it touches. In this sense, usefulness is like the physics definition of true work. Force applied across distance. Real work is force applied across humanity. If you dedicate yourself to that, your chances of building something that lasts multiply. But to stay on this path, you must destroy ego. Ego blinds you to reality. If your ego outweighs your ability, you lose the feedback loop that keeps you grounded. Like an algorithm with broken reinforcement signals, you drift into self. The key is to close the loop on reality, always listening, always adapting, never assuming you are above the work. Sometimes that work is grand. Other times, it is humble. Both matter equally. Real builders don't chase titles. They chase. This truth extends to learning itself. People often assume geniuses are born with special gifts, but genius is usually ordinary curiosity, pursued relentlessly. Every scientist, every innovator, every pioneer began as a regular person who studied hard, obsessed over details, and refused to quit when it became difficult. There is no mystical power required to understand atoms, quantum mechanics, or complex mathematics. What is required is time, patience, and obsession. Anyone willing to put in the hours can learn to think in unfamiliar ways until those ways become second nature. The challenge is that our world does not want to admit how much work ethic matters. People crave shortcuts, quick victories, instant gratification. But greatness requires an unshakable commitment to ours. Years, sometimes decades of practice, whether it's in business, art, science, or parenting. The cost of building something meaningful is always paid in time and energy. The only way to endure that cost is to love what you're redoing so much that the work doesn't feel like a burden. Many of us discover this truth in unexpected ways. Maybe as children selling something door to door, realizing that providing value to others felt empowering. Maybe through trading collectibles, flipping small wins into larger ones, until the sense of possibility became addictive. The point is not that every venture succeeded. Most failed, but failure never erased the belief that with enough effort, success was possible. That belief becomes the fuel that drives people through setbacks. And here's another paradox. Everything falls apart. It's not pessimism, it's physics. The second law of thermodynamics tells us that systems naturally move from order to disorder. Stars collapse. Empires crumble. Buildings decay. Nothing remains untouched by entropy. At first, this sounds terrifying, as if everything we build is destined to vanish. But entropy is not just destruction, it is transformation. When something breaks down, it creates space for something new. Wildfires, for example, seem like devastation. Yet they clear the forest floor, enrich the soil, and give dormant seeds the chance to grow. Collapse becomes the prelude to renewal. Our lives mirror this law of nature. A job loss, a breakup, a personal crisis feels like devastation, but in reality, they are the burning away of structures that no longer serve us. They force us to rebuild, to adapt, to evolve into stronger versions of ourselves. Human beings crave stability, but growth rarely happens in stability. It happens when the ground shakes beneath us. Every leap forward, whether in evolution, history, or personal development, has come after disruption. Think about evolution. Before the Cambrian explosion, life was stagnant. Then instability struck, and suddenly, complexity flourished. Human civilizations follow the same rhythm. Kingdoms fall, ideas crumble, and from the ruins, better systems emerge. Inside our own lives, the pattern repeats. Step 1. Something familiar becomes unstable. Step 2. Chaos increases. Crisis hits. Confusion grows. Step 3. From that disorder, a stronger order emerges. You adapt. You reinvent. You grow. The difference lies in interpretation. If you see breakdown as disaster, you stay trapped in rubble. If you see breakdown as opportunity, you emerge renewed. Entropy is not here to destroy you, it is here to invite you to let go of the outdated, to release what no longer fits, and to create space for what is waiting to be born. So if your life feels like it's collapsing, maybe it's not the end. Maybe it's the beginning of something greater. Maybe you're not breaking down, you're breaking through.